All right, ladies and gentlemen, final manga reaction for today. Sorry for keeping y'all waiting. It's time to get started with the final one, JUJUTSU Kaisen. So let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another JUJUTSU Kaisen chapter reaction and review. Last we left out on Gojo beat Sukuna with a super-powered hollow purple that not only got rid of Maharaga, but also a great portion of the city of Shibuya, but also heavily injured Sukuna. So let's see what happens next. Chapter 236, heading south. The whole Shinjuku Showdown titles, it's gone. How many Shinjuku Showdown chapters have we had? Hold on, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to the last chapter we had. How many Shinjuku Showdowns? Inhuman Makio Shinjuku Showdown number 13. 13 chapters dedicated to the Shinjuku Showdown. And now we're getting a brand new chapter. Chapter 236, heading south. And we have Geto and Gojo when they were younger speaking to each other. Yo, gah, no freaking way. Could things get any worse? How rude, and right after seeing me. I told one of my students, didn't I, that when it's your time, you die alone. Please tell me this is just my imagination. Does it matter either way? It does, and this is Gojo speaking to Geto. It does, and then there's a matter of his father. Oh well, I already asked Shoko to handle that. So how was the King of Curses? Man, he was crazy strong. Plus, Sukuna didn't even go all out. I'm not sure if I could have beaten him even if he didn't have Megumi's 10 shadows. Whoa, he's so strong that he made you admit that? I do feel a bit sorry for him, though. I can empathize with the magnitude of his sheer solitude more than anyone else. I love everyone and don't feel lonely now, but somewhere along the way there was a line I drew, not as a human, but as a living creature. You can make a flower. Why are we talking like this? Why are we having this conversation? Why are we having this conversation? You can make a flower bloom. You can admire it, but you can't tell that flower I want you to understand me. The skills I drilled into this tempered body of mine, my refined senses, even my haphazard tactics and explosive power, I gave it my all. I wanted to convey everything to Sukuna. I wanted him to know. The absolute strongest, the loneliness that follows, the one who will teach you about love is. It was fun, but Sukuna wasn't able to give it his all, and for that I'm sorry. You're making me jealous, but if you're satisfied, then that's all right. Satisfied? If you were among those patting my back, then I might have been satisfied. Anyway, I'm just glad I didn't die because of old age or some kind of illness, but rather because of someone stronger. I'm sorry? I can't believe what I'm reading. See, in the back of my mind, I wanted to deny it. Anyway, I gotta read. I'm only on page 6 through 7. And mind you, if y'all are saying anything in chat, I can't see it because I'm just focusing on the chapter. But we're gonna talk after. Anyway, I'm just glad I didn't die because of old age or some kind of illness, but rather because of someone stronger. What are you, an old military general? No one thinks like that nowadays. It's creepy. Huh? But I guess that's the reason you were able to live longer than me. Wait. Is that Nanami? Oh no. Oh no. And then we had that one kid, you know, that happy dude? That, Haibata. Yeah, Haibata. It's all within a margin of error for the both of you. It's like I told Gato a long time... Oh, wait, this is Nanami. It's like I told Gato a long time ago. Why not just let you take care of everything by yourself from now on? Please stop that. As Gojo is poking Nanami in the head over and over. You live for jujutsu. You don't wield it to protect something. You use it solely for the sake of satisfying yourself. You're a weirdo. Nanami! Everyone thinks that, but no one says it out loud. Haibata, you're annoying me more than he does. Sorry. I mean, it's not like you're wrong. You clearly admitted to it earlier just now, and Gojo is silent. And then Nanami continues. That was an end worthy of you. I won't condone it, but I can sympathize. Well, thanks. And how was yours? Well, I butted into it. A curse can save... I butted into it. A curse can save people too. Just like jujutsu. In the past, this is what Ms. May said when I asked her about recommendations for leaving the country. If you want to start anew, head north. If you want to return to your old self, head south. Without hesitation, I chose somewhere south. I'm such a backward-looking person, and yet I bet on the future in my final moment. It wasn't a bad one after all. Oh, it wasn't a bad one after all. I've also got Haibata to thank for that. You're welcome! I see, goes Gojo. Prez! What the heck is going on? Lord. Oh my god. Prez! Because it's Principal Yaga. Wasn't there supposed to be no such thing as a sorcerer dying without any regrets? And then Gojo is just waving at Yaga, and we see Gojo smiling. We see Gato smiling. Not Kenjaku in his body, but the original Gato smiling. We see Haibata. We see Nanami. We see Riko. We see Riko Amanai, along with, I think, her maid as well. I forget her name. I pray that this all isn't just my imagination. All we have on the next panel, pages 12 and 13, is a picture of Gojo laying on the ground, eyes looking like they're almost hazed over, blood from his mouth. I can't even tell what's fully happened to him. But he's just laying there on his back. Blood around him. And Sukuna is speaking. Maharaga's adaptation process slowly starts analyzing once it receives an initial attack, and is complete after a certain amount of time. During that process, if it receives additional attacks, the completion time is sped up. Not only does it ensure adaptation of the first jujutsu, but the analysis doesn't stop and the adaptation continues. What I desired from Maharaga was a model in order for me to breach through your inviolability. The first thing that Maharaga adapted to your inviolability, It transmuted its own cursed energy in order to neutralize and nullify your inviolability. And we see the shocked face of Yuji. That was something I could not do, so I waited. I waited until I could obtain an adaptation that would match your inviolability. And it shows Maki, who's holding onto Yuta Okotsu, who's gripping his sword, and they both look distraught. The second adaptation proceeded as I had hoped. That wasn't meant to be a slash like the ones I launched. That was the extension of Curse Technique targets. Its target was not Satoru Gojo. It extended all the way to space, the existence, and the world themselves, so as to cut them. I gotta keep reading. I gotta keep reading. Without regard for your inviolability, as long as it exists inside that space, the world, those existences would split apart. It was an incredibly difficult technique to obtain, but I did have quite the wonderful model. Gojo didn't win. Sukuna won. As Sukuna is saying all of this, he is standing in front of Gojo's body that's been cut clean through. What we saw of Gojo laying on the ground, that was his upper torso. And his legs and a certain part of Gojo's torso is still standing. You were magnificent, Satoru Gojo. I shall never forget you for as long as I live. And as Gojo is laying on the ground, bleeding out and dying, he's still able to let out a smile. And then something starts to speed towards Sukuna at blinding speed. Without taking any time to mourn the death, it's confirmed Gojo is dead. Gojo is dead. Gojo is dead. Let me continue. We're gonna talk. We got narration. Without taking any time to mourn the death of Satoru Gojo, soaring towards the battlefield was the god of lightning, Hajime Kashimo. I feel great. Don't you dare spoil it. And that's the end of the chapter. I am so glad that I was not spoiled on this chapter. But at the same time, I don't know how I feel about it. Silver Mage, I was literally thinking about how Yamamoto got taken out by Yuha in Bleach. That's the same way Yamamoto went out. It seemed like Yamamoto was literally preparing to kill Yua then pulls a slicky on Yamamoto, steals his Bankai, and proceeds to kill him. Satoru Gojo unleashes his strongest attack, and it looks like Sukuna's on the ropes, barely able to regenerate. And then the end result is him getting cut through. Wow. Please read chapter 234, page 12, 13, and 14. I mean, there's nothing new here. All I'm seeing is just when Sukuna, hold on, I went back too far. When Sukuna told Maharaga to stop messing around, I think that slash I keep hitting the wrong buttons for this. I'm sorry. That slash was meant to test his strength. From what I understand, Sukuna copied the second adaptation of Maharaga and copied a cut that could cut through the space of Limitless itself. Let me see what you all have said. Oh man, Gajil's in here too. All right, so let's see. Calzone. I missed out to read this chapter because despite the one panel you got spoiled on, I didn't actually know everything that happens in this chapter. The art is way better now. Oh, it was good before. Ogata's here. Halster's here. Let's see. It's not a flashback. It's been so long. How long? Like a good 40 minutes. It's not a flashback. Considering the panel I saw, I'm not surprised. The panel I saw gave it away for me, unfortunately. Gege used to use black borders for flashbacks. And that's what made me so angered during the Cyberpunk stream. Is that Toji in the background? Is that Toji? Is that Toji in the... Wait, is that Toji in... Because the area, we're pretty much looking in the afterlife of every person that's died. Every significant person that's died. We get Geto, we get Gojo, we get Haibara, we get Nanami. And yeah, that's Toji. That's Toji along with Yaga. That's Toji in the background. Wow. The Afterlife Airport. This is where they are. This is the Afterlife Airport. This isn't even the panel you got spoiled on. That's the point you got spoiled on. The one with Gojo's legs. Yeah. The strongest Jujutsu sorcerer in the world has been killed. That slash was the second adaptation. It was the model. It basically cut space-time. Wow. Now Kyushu read this chapter. How did people know about Gojo's death and Kyushu's just now reading this chapter? Because scans drop early in a week. People will find scans from Japan, translate them quickly and early, and put them out as early as Thursday or Friday. So people knew about this backwards. People knew about this backwards. People knew about this backwards a couple of days before these chapters, because I told y'all I don't read early scans. Otherwise, y'all be getting reactions like earlier in the week, like on Fridays and stuff. But I'm strictly official. So I wait until Sunday, which is why the weekend tends to be the most dangerous days, simply because people would rather put spoiler videos out and such, and put news articles out and when you're just searching for stuff, and it'll just blare into your eyes. So luckily, I didn't see any of it. Man. So, Sukuna Slash. He adapted the slash of Maharaga that cuts Gojo's arm the first time. He pretty much adapted that slash so it can cut through space, the world, and existence. A slash that can cut through space-time. Can't understand people who wait on Twitter for Raws because, I mean, they don't want to be patient and wait for it to be officially translated. Some people are very impatient and wanted to get it out as soon as possible or learn about it as far as getting it out as soon as possible. To be fair, the officials isn't the best. I mean, it's the only one we got. Can't understand people waiting on like I can't even read it. So now Gojo's gone with his little cousin. Will his little cousin take his place? Who, Yuto Kotsu? I don't know. And now Sukuna can casually do this now? I mean, he's adapted to be able to use this slash at a degree where it can cut through space-time now. Read on TBC, but still have to take the time to see the Viz translation too. I just read from Viz, because that's comfortable for me. I don't read early or anything, I just read from Viz. However it is. So, I wonder if the creators met up to make these chapters for My Hero and JJK. Man. And 16 people watching my reaction for this chapter. I don't know how to feel. I really don't. Funny thing, the new translation of Lightning came in the same chapter as the God of Lightning. That kid from Jujutsu Kaisen 0, you mean Yuto Okotsu. You mean Yuta. And Gojo, such a king. He has his murder. He has his murderer Toji in his inner heaven, but not Nobara. Don't worry, you don't need to tag me so much. I can see you. So slashes might just ignore hardness of things. I mean, the slashes of Sukuna were already geared towards slicing through cursed energy and adjusting themselves so that they can still slice through whoever uses cursed energy to even shield themselves. Now he's able to slice through space-time itself, so even Gojo's Limitless is incapable of stopping it. Also, why did Gojo say he's not sure if he could beat Sukuna even if he didn't have Megumi's technique? Because here's the thing, Sukuna is an incredibly powerful curse. He's an incredibly powerful cursed individual, and his level of power is immeasurable. We don't know the fullest extent of what Sukuna is capable of doing. We've seen a lot of what Sukuna can do, but not the fullest extent. When it comes to the Limitless, I mean, it's basically limitless, but pretty much it requires the use of the Six Eyes in order to use to its fullest degree. But with Sukuna, he's called the King of Curses for a reason. And this man, all I can say is that for Sukuna, he's been using abilities that we haven't seen before. Can he use those new slashes on his domain? I don't know. Never knew his name, but you think Maharaga and Yuto's monster look alike when you see Sukuna's Maharaga. I wouldn't say they look similar. I wouldn't say they look similar. You might be thinking of the fact that they don't really have, like, they have the grooves going up their face. Grooves going up their face, and you just see their mouth exposed. Sukuna still hasn't shown his full hand. Exactly. We still haven't seen the upper limits of what Sukuna can do. Like, his ability to copy Jogo's fire-related curse technique and then kill him with it, we still don't know what that is. We don't know what Sukuna's innate technique is. We just know that he's capable of doing these different slashes and whatnot, but his innate technique has still to be revealed. We still don't know what it is, because he's just using all these different techniques, but not his own innate technique. Matter of fact, we're about to deep dive. We're about to deep dive right now. So if we go to Sukuna's power, really hope they've been updating the wiki so it can be accurate. I'll just scroll down because the page doesn't want to obey. If we go down to his curse techniques, yeah, it is currently unknown what Sukuna's curse technique is. He was shown to use his cursed energy to perform invisible slashes. Considering his reaction when his attack was deflected by Maharaga, they are hard to notice in general. And Sukuna was shown to use fire-based powers after chanting open. But we don't know what Sukuna's innate technique actually is. Slashes are his innate technique. That's why it's etched into his domain. Now, you say that, but he can use, it says he can use his cursed energy to perform invisible slashes, but it does not say that these slashes themselves is his innate technique. That's just something he can do. So I wouldn't say that the slashes themselves are his innate technique, but rather the technique that allows him to manipulate his cursed energy into whatever form he desires. Narrator did say you etch your innate technique into the barrier of your domain, though. Yes, he did. They did. But it's Sukuna, though. We don't know just how. And here's the thing. And we just recently learned that you can change the properties of your domain. Can't tell whether it'd be a good idea for them all to jump Sukuna or not. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. But Kenjaku uses gravity for his domain, even though it's not innate. Exactly, Calzone. See, you don't. Just because you can use a certain technique inside of your own domain does not mean that it is your innate technique. Sukuna is a very special case where he can use his own domain expansion and just basically slash people in it because it guarantees people are capable of being hit by the slashes. But that does not mean that the slashes that Sukuna uses are his innate technique. It's just him manipulating his cursed energy to produce them. But it's not the actual innate technique of Sukuna himself. We have yet to see Sukuna show and describe, and even for it to be revealed what his actual innate technique is. We have yet to see that. We've just seen him use slashes, and with Sukuna's power, he can do whatever he wants. Clearly. But we still don't know what all Sukuna can do. And now this man has access to space-time slashes. So to go back to you, Ogata, it would be a very bad idea if anyone tried to jump him. The fact that Hajime is trying to jump him now, it's either Kashimo is very confident in his ability to inflict harm on Sukuna, or he's overzealous, because Sukuna just killed the strongest sorcerer of today. Just straight up killed him. Watch Gojo get an awakening or come back like Naoya, or maybe Yuta instantly inherit Six Eyes since they're related, since Six Eyes will always exist. Right, but it's not like a Sharingan where it just transfers over to an already living individual. I don't think it works like that. You gotta be born with the eyes. Not unless you can just copy Gojo's technique, because technically Yuta can copy techniques done by other people. But we'll have to see. Because when it comes to people with immeasurable levels of cursed energy, the only people I can think of is Sukuna, Gojo, and Yuta Okotsu. Those are the individuals that have the ability to have almost near endless cursed energy. The editor's note said Kashimo Hajime heading towards certain death. I mean, Sukuna, Gojo's gone. To be fair, Kashimo did say if Gojo dies, he gets next, and since Gojo died, he's gone. Yuta does, not Rika. He's been waiting 400 years for this after all. What about Geto? Kenjaku's off doing his own thing. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what Kenjaku's doing right now. But now things have gotten so much significantly hard. Things have become significantly harder with Gojo gone. No more curse technique reversal. No more curse technique reversal red. No more curse technique lapse. Curse technique lapse blue. No more hollow purple. That's just gone. All right. Family came in and brought my food to me, so I got to wrap this up. Did we ever think that this was going to happen? New awakening for Gojo incoming, I believe. You're very hopeful, Silver Mage. You're very hopeful. We'll have to see. I think when he learned Gojo's death, it will change his goal or something. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Cdes. The Geto you're speaking as if it's the same Geto that was friends with Gojo. It's not. Geto is dead. Kenjaku has taken over that body. So Kenjaku doesn't have that same feelings towards Gojo. Kenjaku has been killing users of the Six Eyes for years, making sure that none of them get born with it, even killing a child that was born with the Six Eyes a month after they were born. Kenjaku does not feel that way about Gojo. Is feeling like, oh no, Gojo's dead. I better do something about it. No, if anything, he's probably more happy that Gojo's gone. A user of the Six Eyes and the Limitless is now gone? Of course he's happy. That's one less powerful individual that could actually stand a chance of stopping him. So if anything, Kenjaku is incredibly happy that Six Eyes Limitless user is gone. And who knows how long it's going to be before another one is born. If that's still a thing that's possible now. Megumi has such low masculine energy, infuriates me. Watch Sukuna kill his sister and his adopted dad, yet doesn't rebel at all, unlike my man Yuji, who always fought back. You don't have to tag me every time, Silver Mage. And another thing to bring up that pretty much backs up against what you're saying is the fact that Sukuna specifically took a bath to immerse Megumi deeper within his subconscious so that Megumi couldn't fight back. The whole purpose of the bath that he took, thanks to Uroume, was so that Megumi had an even smaller chance of rebelling against him and rising up. Yuji had strong enough willpower in order to stand up against Sukuna, that and the fact that he only had like a couple of fingers at the time, so he was able to resist him at most. But Megumi, it was purposefully done so that Megumi could not rise up and regain control of his body. The bath was used to immerse him in cursed energy and just soak him. Literally turn for Sukuna to turn Megumi's body into like a cursed tool, and just put him deep and deeper into himself. Why did he not take a bath in Shibuya when he had Yuji under control after killing Jogo and Maharaga? Because he did not want Yuji. He wanted Megumi. Because Megumi had Maharaga. He wanted that power. The power to adapt to any cursed technique. Sukuna didn't have that, but Megumi did. So, what's the next best thing that you do? You gamble on infusing all your cursed energy into a single finger, force feed it to the person whose body you want to take over, thus gain access to those techniques that give you a better chance of standing up against the user of the Six Eyes and the Limitless. That's the reason why he went after Megumi. Because Yuji's body is just straight up superhuman, but it doesn't have what Sukuna needs. Megumi's body did. Access to the 10 Shadows technique and everything that goes with it. You'd argue Yuji's soul swap is better? You could say that, but for Sukuna, the advantages of having a Shikigami that's capable of dispelling the techniques of a 6-size limitless user is far more advantageous than Yuji's super, just regular superhuman body. And I say regular like it's normal, but it's not. Yuji is abnormal. But there's far more advantages to taking over the body of a 10 Shadows technique user and then using your own immeasurable cursed energy to manipulate every facet of it, and even manipulate it far better than the original user can. There's far more advantages to that than just staying in Yuji's body. I mean, we all knew that he was gunning for Megumi the moment he looked at Megumi and let him live. That's the only reason why he let Megumi live in the past. Because he had something that Sukuna wanted, which was access to the 10 Shadows technique. Kind of weird that Sukuna never fought a Gojo clan member before. I wonder, has that happened in the past? I know Kenjaku has gone up against users of the 6 Eyes and the Limitless. This chapter gives you Teen Titan Season 4 vibes with Trigon and feels like all hope is lost. Yeah, literally Raven's birthday vibes. Like, right when the symbols appears on her arms, and Ramen's all like, what is it? It's happening, isn't it? It's the end of the world. The bath wasn't ready in October. Yeah, the bath itself wasn't ready. So that's the reason why. That's another reason why Sukuna didn't take the bath with the body of Yuji. It wasn't ready yet. They had to take all those cursed spirits and then wring them out. Ururume had to chop them up and pour their blood into a spot so that when Maharaga's plan enacted, he could then take Megumi's body to the completed bath. But it wasn't done during that time. So that was even a less reason for him to take a bath with Yuji's body. But how do we feel? Now, here's the thing. I saw articles saying that this chapter was controversial. And I can imagine it's controversial for a lot of people simply because people love Gojo. And many people thought that he would never die. He would never lose. And then after the last chapter we got where everyone says like, hey, Gojo won. Everyone's happy. Then we get this new chapter and we find out that Gojo actually died. And we get this whole intro where he's just talking to all of his deceased friends and people that knew him because he's dead. How are we feeling about this chapter? I can see why people are out of sorts because Gojo's a fan favorite. He's the, if not one of the most popular characters in this entire series. And now he's dead. Imagine if Sukuna is able to revive Maharaga after it's been completely destroyed, because it's dead for now, but I hope it stays dead and Maharaga isn't brought back by Sukuna. I don't know if it works that way. I haven't checked into the 10 Shadows technique page all that often, but I don't think I've read anything about what happens if you completely destroy a Shikigami. Is it just gone forever? But we'll have to see. And we're not going on break. He's the #1 most popular character, so people will be mad. Yep. Which means that every episode we see of Gojo from here on in, well, not recently because Gojo's been sealed in the most recent episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, but knowing what we know now, when the rest of this series gets we just know this now. It sounds childish, I know, but you would throw a rock at Gege if we met. Such sloppy writing, literally off-screening the climax of the battle. It's not sloppy. It's not sloppy, and that's uncalled for. You would throw a rock at him? Yeah, you're right. It is childish. It is childish. God. But overall, this was a good chapter. But this, and people are already hating on the anime as it is, it's not necessary. Stop it. It's not that deep. But, see, for me, part of me was like, we gotta keep an eye on what Sukuna's going to do next. And people were saying like, well, Sukuna's barely regenerating. He's lost Maharaga and all these other things. And me and some other people are all like, you never know with these types of manga. You never know with these types of manga that you should never get too attached to everyone where you think they're just going to live, especially in a series where people have died constantly. So for this conclusion to happen, while I am shocked that we lost Gojo, Gojo is dead. Let me say that out loud for everybody. Gojo is dead. I'm also not surprised that this is one of the outcomes that have happened. Because in the back of my mind, I was always thinking, what happens? What would happen if Gojo were to lose this fight and die? And, well, we've reached that point. I'm done. I've gone on far longer. This has actually gone on longer than both my One Piece and my My Hero Academia reactions. This is going to make people feel some type of way. When it's out there in the open and people are actively talking about it, I would not be surprised if children get out there saying how Gege's a bad writer and everything because of this. People felt the same way when we lost Star and Stripe in My Hero Academia. Struggling to continue Jujutsu Kaisen, to be honest. Don't worry, I will. My favorite characters were Gojo, Nanami, Naoya, and Mahito now are all dead, so why even watch? I can't answer that question for you. This ranks up to the last chapter with Nanami for me. They're both my faves. Curious how they'll be able to beat Sukuna and Kenjaku now. Imagine Itadori learns Gojo's death, he's gonna lose it. No, they know. No, Sidas, you don't understand. When I said that when Yuji looks distraught and both Yuta and Maki were like very tensed up, they know. They know. They know. That's the reason why Yuji looks the way he does in this chapter. They know. If Mei Mei's crows were still broadcasting everything, they saw it happen. So they know. But man, now I will say this. I'm not going to say it's a great chapter because I enjoyed everything. How would you enjoy Gojo being dead? Did you compare an established character like Gojo to that filler? Let me see because you apparently have a lot to say, Silver. Did you compare an established character like Gojo to that filler Star and Stripes? She existed only to motivate All for One to come back. Not in a way that you think I am. I compared them both simply because they're two characters that got killed and people had an issue with them being killed off. Period. I'm not comparing them as characters in line with them being on the same level, writing-wise. I mean, them just getting straight up killed when they think that when they appear to be winning. Just straight up getting killed right then and there. That's what I'm comparing. I'm excited for the future of JJK for how they all grow to get stronger to combat these new threats. Reminds me of how I felt watching The Great Silence during my high school days. It was the first movie you saw where the bad guy wins. Yeah. And also like that moment, The Great Silence. You know, the same Great Silence when Thanos snapped everybody and you see him smiling at the end of Infinity War. Yeah, that's it. That's the same silence. Okay, sorry. Silver Mage, you're fine. Don't worry about it. I don't get hung up on those sort of things. You're good. Don't worry about it. Missed your first half of this stream. Oh, it's all good. It's all good, C-Des. It's all good. This chapter is going to stick with people. I can't believe I'm still going with this, but this chapter is going to stick with people for a very long time. Will Yuji pull a Gon when he lost Kite? I don't know. Because we still don't know what Yuji is and what all he's capable of doing. Because even after having Sukuna, taken out of his body, he still displayed superhuman strength that should not be possible. Picking up full-on cars and throwing it, ripping a post straight out of concrete and using it as a weapon, jumping up to the top of a building? Like an actual building? There's so many things about Yuji that we still don't know. Like, why did Kenjaku give birth to him? Because remember, Kenjaku inhabited the body of a woman who married Yuji's dad, who then gave birth to Yuji. For what purpose? We still don't know why. But I liked this chapter, but I'm also saddened because we lost Gojo. But at the same time, the show must go on. I mean, we got to continue and see this through to the end. Yes, we lost one of the most powerful Jujutsu sorcerers this series has ever seen. But the story's got to go on. We got to keep going. And we got to see where the story goes from here. Now, where we end up after a Gojo-less world remains to be seen. Where we go after this remains to be seen. It appears like we're not going on break after this chapter. We're surprisingly not going on break after the chapter that sees Satoru Gojo dead. That's shocking to me, but we'll find out later. I'm done. I got food here. I need to go eat it. I mean, he is the offspring of Kenjaku, so I'm not too surprised he's superhuman. He could be the most successful death painting wounds we've ever seen. We don't know. Feel like a chapter that will be appreciated more years to decades to come. It's a band-aid ripping chapter, but it touches on your feelings and heartstrings. Yeah, the heartfelt conversations that Gojo was having with Nanami and Haibara and Geto. It's like, it's just him having a retrospective over his life. Now, people may not like it now. People may not like this chapter now, but we'll have to come back to this chapter once the series is over. We'll have to do like an analysis of the entirety of the story of Jujutsu Kaisen when this is over. The life of Satoru Gojo and everybody involved. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Can you believe it? Gojo's gone. So many major things have been happening in One Piece, My Hero, and now Jujutsu. I feel like out of all the chapters and manga's chapters that I've released today, I think the Jujutsu one is probably going to stick with people the most. But we'll see. We'll see. Man, we are literally about to go into chapters where Gojo is no longer among the living. He was doing so well, but I guess we all have that time. It's unfortunate. I wonder, poor Boruto can't relate? Nope, can't relate at all. But I'm just not a fan of Boruto, but that's a conversation for another time. I gotta stop. I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. Every single person who showed up today, whether you're new here for the very first time, there's something on my eye, but I don't want to move it around too much because I want to get it out. For every single person who's shown up, whether you've been here for a minute or you're just now showing up for the very first time, all I can say is, well, thank you for showing up. I really do hope you enjoyed. And, I mean, I love doing this. I really do. These moments where I'm sharing these chapter reactions is, like, it's amazing. We get to talk about things, like from Silver Mage to Halster to Ogata-san to J Music to everyone who showed up. We get to talk about everything that happened in this chapter. And I enjoy these conversations. We may not agree on every single thing, but I do love the conversation, because at least we can reach a conclusion that still has everyone, you know, still has everyone enjoying the results, so to speak. You know, I tend to ramble on, I'm sorry. But I do love doing these for all of you, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter of Jujutsu to see where we go in a world without Satoru Gojo. So, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you enjoyed what you saw here today, then please do these things if you haven't already, because not only are they free, but they also help the channel grow even larger. Like, subscribe, and share the stream with everyone you know, because the more the merrier. And because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later peoples, it's time to eat.